Hey guys, welcome to Cities and Skylines with me, Lagamnug. Today we are going to be working on Floodsville here. As you can see, there's quite a few problems going on with the city. It's a recent build that I'm doing with the Rainfall expansion. If you haven't seen the DLC. It's a recent, what do they call those? Not DLC. Workshop. So there's a workshop add-on called Rainfall. It gives you a couple of these options here. You'll see in the water category things like drainage, inlets and outlets. You've got some what are these called? Underground detention basins. And yeah, it just kind of gives you this idea that when the rain occurs in the game, you actually have rain falling. So things like the rivers will start to flood. As you can see, these rivers have swelled from the past rainfall. And also, we've got this one main river here that we've been working with. That one will definitely swell a lot. I put down a lot of them here. So it's pretty easy. You basically go into this tab under your water structures, this middle tab. You can choose things like this, a flood spawner, where it'll just spawn water that changes based on how strong the rainstorm is, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, I put a whole bunch of flood spawners around this river because it's the main river for the game. Naturally, this map was really well made. It's creating a large amount of water only coming out of here, which is really cool. A lot of places they'll put little top-ups along the way, but I think the best rivers are made by one single source so that as your water flows down, if you choose to drain the river, let's say, or things adjust, you have to work with that. So as you can see here, we've even got spots where it's kind of drying up near the bottom of the river. All right. So anyways, there's a ton of flood spawners all over this here. As you can see, all these little gray guys are flood spawners. So when it rains, I kind of put them at the tops of the mountains. I find that works the most naturally. It'll let it just dribble down the mountain, collects in the different places, creating some nice, beautiful natural lakes. I really like this map because it's got these drawn-in kind of, these canyons, basically. And so the water will flow naturally into the canyons and then work its way down eventually to the ocean over here. And one of the things that I've always liked about Cities Skylines is the ability of the water to act in a realistic manner. And with maps like this, I mean, just check out these scars that have been created by the rivers. I'll talk about my little water basin over here in a sec. It's just really awesome because you have a rainfall happen and then it will all just start flooding in, hence the name Floodsville I gave this town. And yeah, you have to work with it. On top of that, in the city itself, when a rainfall happens, each building based on its surface area has a calculation, and that calculation will determine how much water will spawn essentially on that building. So in order to combat that and keep the flooding away, you can use things such as these little inlets here. Let's see, kind of hard to click on. So storm drain inlet. So there's different sizes. They have different in rates, out rates, and basically it'll suck in the water and then it will go to a detention basin first. If the detention basin, it's pretty cool. They do a lot of this based on the elevation. So if the elevation of the inlet is above the detention basin, the water will come from the inlet to the detention basin. Once it reaches the detention basin, if there is an outlet that is below the detention basin, such as, I think I have one somewhere around here. These guys. These are little bubble up outlets. They're very hard to click on. There we go. So a bubble up outlet, this is slightly below that elevation. It will work its way out as there's availability in these bubble up outlets. So as you can see, little bits are becoming available, and then they're draining out of one of these outlets. You don't really notice the amount of drain happening if you put it this close to the water. If I were to put it on land here, you'd probably notice it a little bit more. That's about it. Yeah, this is a terribly placed landfill. It is just spewing into the water there. So I've kind of deemed this area my detention basins. I have quite a few of them. And the real purpose for these is that when you have a large rainfall, when your city can't handle all of the falling rain and getting it all out in time, it will start holding it and then work its way out naturally as there's availability. So as you can see, it's kind of trending downward overall right now as it's trying to work out the water as it can. Yeah, so overall that's how the mechanics work. This is the city, Floodsville. So today, we've kind of already built the city up quite a bit. We're at 49,900 population, working towards our next milestone at 60,000 here in the metropolis. So it'd be great to get an airport in. I'm a big fan of cargo airports too. I just think they look awesome in the city. And yeah, at the moment, one of the problems we're having a lot of trouble with is because I'm playing with realistic population mod, these buildings hold like a massive amount of people, a more realistic amount, honestly. So you get an office or something, like let's find one of these big ones. So this has 150 workers almost in it. So one of the troubles with the realistic population, you can get a high-rise residency too that can also have hundreds of people in it, which is far more accurate. I like that a lot. But yeah, check this out, 300 workers in an office. So it's pretty cool. The mod, I think, is really fun to play with compared to the original game. But the other difficulty is that education seems to take a lot longer because I'm also doing realistic, realistic population. And here, I'll just open up my mods quick. Here we go. So we've got realistic population and also life cycle rebalance. This one is huge too because it makes death waves far less common. And yeah, you can kind of control different settings if you like. I'm just playing with the base of the mod. I find it's pretty good. And you get a more realistic distribution of citizens in your city, like ages and who's working and all these things. So the city is a pretty generic grid layout, but what I've been trying to work with here, because of the Rainfall mod, you really got to work with your terrain. If you don't work with the terrain correctly, so as you can see, this is all built on a slope that kind of trends down to the river. Part of why I chose this map really is big flat sections are really bad for rainfall. Obviously, they accumulate a lot of water. And as you can see, as we got to this section of town, I've been working on this idea of building sets of bridges over these like crevasses, which is pretty cool, I think. So I'm a big fan of cycling, so I put bike lanes everywhere. I also find that it alleviates a lot of traffic and gets rid of parking, which I just find to be kind of ugly in the game. These are my attempt at kind of tightly compacted single residencies. When you do this realistic population mod, one of the things it will do is it'll make a low density housing actually only have 1 or 2 families in it, a duplex or a single building. Most of them are just one, as you can see here. So when you build a 4x4 square of low density housing, you're just wasting tons of space. Like if I built this as low density, it will still only have 1 family in it. So like what, 3-4 people maybe? So it's a huge waste of space. And at the beginning of the game, it's actually pretty hard to have enough space to build in. Another thing, I unlocked all 81 tiles, and to me, that's just kind of I got to the point where I was at like $1 million plus in the bank, and yeah, just decided I'm going to unlock them all so I can start working on some water projects that I wanted to work on, such as this dam over here. So this is where our city's sourcing most of its water. As you can see, we've got a nice dam with a spillway. Reason being, I wanted to keep the dam's water slightly below the line so that it's not actually outputting too much from here. And that way, when it floods, as you can see, there's a highway that comes right along here. I don't want this highway to get flooded in a rainstorm. So we can come back over here during a rainstorm at some point. Really nice details. This guy, whoever designed this map, I'll put some info of the map in the description so you can look it up there. But yeah, I kind of increased the water flow out of this river, and it floods like crazy when it rains. So I've done a little bit of modifying of how this area was shaped and also elevated this whole highway a little bit. But it's pretty cool. I like this. And as you can see by the coloring here, this area has clearly been flooded. It'll be green, if it hasn't had much water on it, but it's kind of this grayish color or this brown color when water's flooded, which I also think is really cool. it gives you an idea as you look around the map. So I've got like the full zoom mod as well on. You can really see like these areas all kind of have flooded during rainstorms, or like even these islands that are in the middle of this riverway, which is just awesome. Like you can see how much the river floods, and that gives you an idea of how you should build. Because again, you don't want to build too close. So I'm going to check in one more time. We were having a terrible traffic issue, and it's still doing really bad on this main road. And I think a lot of it has to do actually with our industry layout. I did industry on this side of the tracks, town on this side, but previously town was all single, what would you call this, low density housing. And now that I've switched everything to high density housing, it has just caused massive amounts of traffic, and the industry is upgraded, and it's just time to get rid of the industry over here. I'm also thinking that in the long run, just having my industry not on a major road that's not even touching the highway is just a bad idea. So I removed a large chunk of the industry from this sector. This is the next bit. I'm trying to clean out my landfills that I was using earlier. Nice, this one's done. So get rid of that. I like to start off with landfills because they're a lot cheaper and you don't generate that much trash. And then once you move later in the game, start having some of these recycling centers. And that's the other thing, is just getting all these things situated in strategic areas when you have a really high density like this is really important. I mean, we've got 50,000 populations sitting on what's probably one game square, roughly, with only a single major road until I just recently put in this one over here. But most people aren't taking this entrance into town. I'm thinking about expanding. Maybe I'll do one more major road that cuts through this way, connecting the two byways. But first up is getting rid of the mess that is this traffic. As you can see, I used to have all of these just crossing the train tracks like this, but now I put a tunnel on this one, expanded these to 2 lanes each direction. But it is still just far too much traffic. So yeah, let's try to figure out where it's coming from. Big fan of Biffa over here, and he would probably just say put a roundabout on all of this. Like, why are there no roundabouts, and what are you doing with this grid here? So I found the realistic population to actually work well with grids if I can get the metro system set up well. And I think part of it is that I have all my metro systems running this way, let's say north-south, and none of them running east-west. So I think one good metro running east-west. Oh, we have a rainstorm starting. Might fix things. All right, so check it out. Things are starting to flood. As you can see, water is appearing on the buildings as it would if it was raining. We even get a little chirper alert usually. Let's see if he... here we go. Yep. Today's forecast brought to you by Whitney Walker from Channel 15. In the next 12 hours and 36 minutes, very specific, this storm will drop a heavy 2.1 units of rainfall. They will hit peak intensity of 0.7 units per hour. That's forecast. Goodbye. # rain forecast. So again, this mod is super cool. Like, whoever invented it thought it up. It's like one of the mechanics that I thought was missing from Cities Skylines that just really needs to be in any future iteration of this game, in my opinion. It's just so cool to see this happen, especially with the rivers flooding, because that's something that, like, when you play the base game and you watch the rivers, it's like they just stay static even though you're having this massive thunderstorm. Quick sip of coffee. Yeah, so check it out. Here's like one of the spawners. This part, I don't like how unrealistic this looks, but I'll give them credit. Like, it's really nice how you can, if you place it on the tops of the mountains, it'll tend to follow the natural curves. So like you got this kind of thing going on, and after it starts raining for a minute or two, it looks pretty natural. It looks much more natural. This might be excessive how much I've put on here, but I kind of like the challenge. So as you can see, the river's already starting to flood here, right? It's breaking its banks. Pretty cool. Come over to this mountain range. I've been really going crazy with the flood spawners on this one, but I love these like giant bowls that are created and just seeing it flood over. So as you can see, this one's just accumulating a ton of water. Come around this way, this mountain range. Also, like, just check all these little lakes and rivers. So here's my dam with the spillway. So as you can see, it was like lightly flowing. But in the next minute or two, all of this water is going to accumulate here. So yeah, this river is starting to break already. I had to do a little diversion here, and this was originally kind of connected like that, and it would flood over in this area. So yeah, even things like this, like now we've lost access to our highway that goes up into the mountains due to some flooding of the tunnels, which is like super realistic. That's what happens when you have a major rainstorm come through. And these like really steep mountains, I tried to give them a couple different flood spawners so that there'd be water spawning on all sides. So yeah, spillway's already starting to have more flow. Traffic's getting hindered a little bit. This is one of our geothermal plants, trying to place those outside the city. Just little things like this is actually a really poorly designed bit of highway here. Like having this shape coming into a flat highway is going to lead to flooding. That's just like a part of reality in the real world. So it's awesome to see it happening in the game. And like you get these little natural retention basins that occur, and then because the game already has evaporation calculated in, they'll evaporate down, which is also awesome. So my city's got a little bit of flooding going on. You're going to get this alert every time that the city happens. I like that also, like, the roads will get a little more jammed up. I mean, I know mine are already pretty jammed up, but they'll get a little more jammed up if, say, like an intersection starts flooding over like this, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so Rainstorm's almost over. No, it's still going. So as you can tell, my city's handling most of this rain pretty well. It also, you can see here's like a low point in the terrain that maybe I'll want to elevate before I start building on. This is something that you really got to consider too. So check it out. There's like this divot here, and I'm going to want to elevate this so that the water runs off onto the roads, not accumulating in the buildings area. You get this thing where, like, here's a pretty poorly designed one. Yeah, like this. You get these divots, right? This is like not good for the Rainfall app because now you've got flooding in the building, which is realistic. That's pretty cool. Makes you think about the terrain as you build far more than the base game. All right, let's see. So, yeah, a couple other things. I plan to upgrade this highway in the future. That's one of my upcoming projects, and probably extend this road. Another thought I had was, why don't I take this and connect it over here, and we could have a nice little wraparound that maybe traces, again, this gorge. This area seems to get flooded really heavily at the moment. That's part of why we elevated this, a la kind of a Florida-style highway that sits 10, 20 feet off the ground because the ground is constantly changing in elevation. Whew, there's a lot of rain coming. Yeah, so I don't know how I'm going to do that just yet. Another thought I had was just instead of going with a highway that connects through with this, I might just, it's just this 2-lane highway. I might just do this 3-lane that connects the whole way, or expand this highway to a 3x3, similar to the main highway in this map, which is over here. Overall, the map designer actually, I don't think they were designing for Rainfall, but they did a good job. There's been very few parts that I've needed to modify to accommodate the flooding patterns. Again, I'll put the name of this map in the description. I can't remember it for the life of me at the moment. So here's our main river, which you can just tell is really flooding over at the moment. It's going to take a little while for this to push downstream, but even things like how the banks are here, you'll start to see it flooding up these little crevices, and yeah, it's pretty neat to watch. So like here, this has got to get changed in the future. Massive issue. Like this highway has become the river. So I'll probably fix that in the future, but I kind of like the challenge at the moment of how it's causing traffic issues, and then the game's having to reconsider. Where is my city? Where'd it go? It's over here, isn't it? There we go. All right. So yeah, here's the other thing. If something floods over, the building floods, it gets abandoned. Kind of like this idea as well. It gives you more of a reason to pay attention to how you're building. I'm not pleased with the fact that I'm having abandoned buildings and I'm losing something like 70 households over a rainstorm, but it's an interesting challenge to play with. I did have a lot of pumping services, these trucks that go around and try to scoop up the extra water. I'll use them after a storm, but I found if you leave them on during the storm, they just cause so much congestion because the trucks will just sit there during the entire storm, and a storm could go on for hours. Well, real life, it could go on for minutes. In game, it'll go on for, the day or something. Yeah, so traffic is abysmal at the moment. We need to figure this out. I'm thinking I really want to keep this main stretch going how it is. So my first guess is let's just see what is going on with who is coming in and out at the moment. Get rid of pedestrian cyclists. They don't really cause that much issue. I've already given allocation of this. So I think part of it is that, are they using it? No, I think trucks and such are actually using this to get around. Okay. Interesting. All right, so some of the trucks are using this to get around, and they are actually using the highway rather than going through town, which is what I want as well. I don't want people using this road through town as a means to get to the other side, and they're not right now, so that's good. This is all a game of playing with the speeds, right? You need to make sure the speed limit is low enough that it makes more sense for the computer to use the highway. Which is also pretty realistic. People want the fastest way from A to B. If you don't use the traffic manager mod already, that is like a total game changer too. People actually use the lanes they're supposed to. Like if you're going to turn, they'll actually get in that lane ahead of time. Ooh, a tsunami. I have not yet seen a tsunami happen in this map. It's 3.1. That's a pretty big size tsunami. I put a warning buoy over here. Oh, there it is probably. Let's see. I like to use this to check. If you use the fish setting, you can see the wave really clearly. Like, check it out. That blue line is the wave. Interesting. All right, so I doubt this wave is going to get inland to me. But what it will do is cause the rivers to swell because there'll be a push of water this way as this water tries to go that way. So what an interesting mix of situations. Like it. I like it. Cool. All right. Town is, I've been placing a lot of, not the smartest thing to do, but I'm trying to grow this town quickly. So I want to get to this next milestone. So I've just been placing a lot of residential building. And that's probably part of this congestion as well, is just new people moving in. That always causes a bit of a wave. But I think most of it, as we're seeing here, it's really people trying to get in and out of my industries. So how do I want to fix that? That's the question. Well, first, let's see just how many people are coming in and from where. So we've got a good amount of... All right, that's more than I expected. There are more private vehicles going in and out than I expected. So that's a good start to think about. I could maybe be alleviating a lot of this just by getting rid of or getting a metro in. This metro comes to here. I might do another metro line that goes along this, and then I might just do one that crosses town. Or maybe I'll turn this into a ring, and these two can bisect the ring. With metros, I'm always trying to think ahead to where is this map going in the future, because it's a real pain to redo metro lines in high-density areas. So I'm thinking these guys are all having goods issues because they can't get the cars in and out. This is always fun. And yeah, of course, the flooding's not helping. So I'm thinking we will take... Yeah, this is also like a terribly designed train area, but surprisingly not a lot of traffic happening from that at the moment. That would probably back up in the future. Yeah, I'm thinking we're also trying to get rid of the pollution here. My goal is to convert this area, so this is all industry. Try to get this pollution down really low, and we'll just get rid of the industry, really. Get rid of these. We've got some trash piles and power plants. So once I can turn all of that off and get rid of those, I'm thinking this area will be redesigned to be a waterfront area. But again, there's flooding potential, so I'm going to have to do kind of this high bank style in order to keep the flooding from getting too severe. I've also got a bunch of bubble up outlets on this beach, which I thought was helpful. This is where we're draining. Like you can see the water just kind of coming out of these to drain out from the city. Yeah, let's just... I wonder if I literally just get rid of the industry, if that'll fix it on the spot. Unemployment's not bad, 9%. I mean, I'd like better, but we're doing this conversion of things over to offices, and it takes time for people to get educated. We need lots of highly educated people for these offices. Like, check this out. This one's actually pretty low. Only 6 highly educated needed. Maybe that's how many. Oh, that's a housing. Let's find an office. That looks like an office right there. That's pretty tall. Oh, no, that's high density. All right, this area was recently built offices. Yes, check this out. 88 highly educated. I mean, it's an office. It's supposed to be people who work in an office, so that's fair. And yeah, what else do we have going on? So let's get rid of some of this since we've just put in a new office. Let's just get rid of this whole stretch here because that'll clean this up quicker. I'd like to get rid of the coal plants. So in order to get rid of those, I need to check my power. Yeah, we can get rid of that one. Go down 40 roughly. So turn this one off and let's just get rid of it. I'll probably need to install another power plant somewhere soon. This plant is on. Yeah, see, we're getting close on that. All right, where's this tsunami, by the way? Ooh, it is actually making its way up the river. But it's dying down. It's dying down already. It is already hit and gone on that. Yeah, here we go. So it's causing a little bit of flooding over this way. That's cool. That's cool. Nice. So we're going to get a little back up on this highway. Or this guy's just going off the road. Ready? What? And there goes our donut truck. Or bug spray, I guess. Bug spray. Or he'll just sit there under the water. All right. Do to you. Yeah, I like that this map is mostly 2-lane highways that go out into these rural areas. I haven't yet encountered an issue with that. Even though I mostly like to use the, where are these? My favorite power plant, I mean, it's just the most efficient, are these solar updraft towers. They do catch on fire a lot, though, with thunderstorms. This map, I've decided I'm going to use a lot of geothermal. Because I don't want the fires to happen. You get a fire and you lose, 240 watts of power out of your city instantly. It's no fun. These geothermals are just a tad more expensive. No, they're a lot more expensive. 80 for, yeah, you're paying like, what's this be? For 3 of these is the same as that. So you're paying $3,900 a week versus $2,800 a week. That's $1,000 money more. It's a lot more expensive, but I've never had one have an issue yet. So I've been putting these out kind of in more rural parts and then trying to protect them a little with some good landscaping where runoff won't affect them. So there's one geothermal plant. I put another one by my fishing industry over here. There's the other geothermal plant. This is just a bunch of salmon fishing because the river moves really quick. So this whole thing is just like salmon, right? There we go. Yeah, there's a little bit of tuna that shows up when you get flooding like that because it gets deep enough, but it'll disappear pretty quickly, which is cool. It's a good way to I like the fishing mod because it's a good way to gauge the depth of the water. Yeah, so this over here, this is my water recycling plant that I've been working on. So here is our eco water out. Obviously that still has some pollution in it, or we scrub it with one of these floating garbage collectors. So it gets rid of the pollution in this bit of water, flows down to this pool. This pool has a second scrubber just in case it's still dirty, flows to this pool, and then boom, it's drinking water for the public. Yum. Much like real life, lots of us are drinking recycled water in our cities. Yeah, and then let it follow this nice little crevice, and maybe this will become an issue in the future as my city expands over. These ones were already a bit of an issue, so I've installed some water intake spots, let's see, along them. Yeah, so we've got these little water intake valves. So if the water has not already found its way into the crevice from this point, they'll start sucking up the water before it hits the city. I had some really bad flooding coming through here in the past. Yeah, I am shocked my city is still making money with this 18% traffic flow. This is pretty terrible. Let's get rid of a little more industry and see if that helps. I don't think we're killing too many jobs at the moment, 9% still. And I have one other thought that is, right now it might just be so jammed up that it's just not going to move until I start like getting rid of a couple things. Like these intersections are just, whew, that is terrible, whatever's going on in here. Yeah, I got lucky, I think, that at the beginning of this it was no issues. We're playing hard mode. Only way to play, really. Yeah, why are you in this lane, police officer? If you're supposed to be going straight, you're just taking advantage of that, and then we've got this huge traffic jam because of you. Yeah, one thing would be get rid of shops on this main road. It's not a bad idea. If I get rid of the shops, that really keeps traffic flowing in a different way. I do understand that. Or just convert these over to... But I like the idea of having your shops on the main road. You can make them offices instead. Yeah, so it's really just this stretch here, isn't it? I like these little housing areas. It's cool. Let's see. Why don't we do that? Let's check the public transit. Make sure it's not an issue with that either. That sometimes the trains, too many people are waiting, and no, that one's going fine. This one is going. Yeah, it's fine. No full trains. No one's using the trains. Why aren't you using the trains? Okay. Tsunami? Wow, it's still going. I mean, this could flood that Brit. Nah, it'll be fine. That's too high. Okay. Yeah, so... Well, I think I'm just going to get rid of all of this industry. That will clear that up. We're pretty much done with this industry anyways. We don't need it. Unemployment's not that bad. We have all these jobs available and no one's taking them, right? 23,000 jobs and only 18,000. It's a issue of education. So I might go and put some more fishing industry or something that can help take, or forestry, although forestry always catches on fire. It's a real pain, the whole forestry thing. I'll just do one of these. Boom, there goes that. You're still emptying. See the bubble ups are letting water out. We're about to get a rainstorm, I bet. Or maybe it's just coming out of the... It's probably coming out of these, actually, the detention basins. Okay, there goes all of that. We've got demand for housing, of course. Even at 52,000 population, going for 60 for this next upgrade to get our airports in. Yeah, we could probably use a new electric unit. So I was thinking of turning one of these dams on and using it. Like, this dam definitely has a good supply, but all in all, I don't want to be dependent on rainfall and flooding to determine my electricity. Not the best idea. If there was a river that was flowing enough constantly, maybe. Maybe we'll just put another geothermal out there. Make a town. Or, you do it out this way. This would be a nice spot for one. I like the idea of them just kind of sitting out in far away areas. Alright, put it up on a hill so it doesn't... Ah, nice. This is a good... Yeah, there's a good spot for it. Alright, so let's get this geothermal plant out. I need a road. Something like that. Flatten it out a little bit. Sorry, my mouse is probably very loud. I'm just realizing that. Put the microphone on the other side. Okay, yeah, that should make my mouse a lot quieter. That was probably very annoying all the way up to now. Okay, so I kind of underestimated the size of this. Yeah. But still too much. Okay, we gotta dig out some earth somewhere else. Or I could lower it. Let's just lower it a little bit. Yeah? Yeah, let's lower it a little. Okay. Just bring this down to about this height. That's good. There we go. And why don't we put it forward just a tad too? That should work. Nice. There's a geothermal plant. Boom. Connect it in. Awesome. Doesn't look too bad. Get some water going. Not one of those. This kind of water. All right. Got a pipe to it. And we're in business. There's some more electricity. Let's turn off the last coal plant if it wasn't already. Yeah, turn that off. I'll just delete it. Don't need it anymore. Okay, this will take some time to empty these guys. And I need more recycling plants, really. That's the problem. Where do I want to put these recycling plants? So I put the first set over here. I figure, again, keep them out of the reach of, put them in an industrial area, right? Keep them out of the reach of the town. My other thought was, now that they're all on this side, I should get some over here that can help alleviate this side of town, because it's a long way to get back and forth. Or maybe over here wouldn't be bad. But yeah, on this stretch just seems to make more sense. So maybe this will become a new industrial area right here. It can be by the highway, other side of the road. Yeah, let's do that. All right, it's gonna look crappy right now. I'll probably have to move them later. But the goal right now is just to get them functioning. And again, I'm almost definitely gonna be redesigning this highway in the future. That's part of my plan. Do something like this. Don't really care for the angles until I get to this part. Forgetting where the keys are. All right, yeah, let's just put like 2 plants here, and that'll get us going. Yeah. Get some water to them if they don't already have it. I'm just gonna extend my kind of grid I've been doing up to this point. And yeah, there's got some trash going. All right, that should help alleviate that. How is this traffic doing? It is better, 23. We were at like 18 at one point. I'm thinking that train line needs to go in, especially now that it's not raining. Another thing with the rain is, as it's raining, it's hard to build. You can anarchy over it because it'll say there's like water. Can't build on water. Occasionally I'll anarchy over it just because you just can't wait forever for these things. But yeah, it definitely can make building a challenge. I'm wondering if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stations kind of cutting this way. That'll be the best. It's hard because it's hard to place a station and then you got to get the track underneath. But I can see it. And if I do it with one of these, the less used roads, I did my grid with alternating. So there's only an intersection every other grid in this direction. And that was so that I could create a walk path between like this. Although some people don't seem to use it. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that way there'd be less intersections on the main road, right? So I'm thinking if I can run my train line along with this one, most people are coming in because this is the main artery where the intersections are going out that. So these middle ones have far less traffic on them. So I think that's how I will go about placing. So here's one on this side of the track. Let's keep them on the same road. Oh, come on. Why is the slope too steep right there? I want to use that building. Okay, whatever. We'll use this building. Get rid of both those buildings. That's annoying. Go to this intersection. No, it's too close there. Okay, that's the one. Over here, we need another one. Oh, then the slope is shaped strangely for some reason. Okay. This one could be interesting. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Let's do that one. Then it can curve around or something at that point. So we got 3 tracks that way. Yeah, maybe it'll just cut across. I don't know if town's going to continue on this side. I might just do like, this could all be like suburbs over here. That might be nice. Keep the city really condensed between this like river and maybe like this river here. and keep the high rises all in this area, and then have it kind of become suburbs beyond the highway. That would be a very like natural look, I think. Okay, and then wrong button. We need 1 or 2 on this side of the tracks, not just 1. And where's the this one? Okay. Interesting. It does not want to place it on the road that way at all. Well, we're going to need 1 in both directions. So how do I fix this? So this is another thing with the terrain that can get really tricky. Like, why is this not loving being built there? Is it just because that building? If I get rid of that one building, are we all happy? I think we will be. Okay, so let's, boom, you're gone. Raise the terrain there a little bit. Because of the road? Is that why? Well, let's just see if that fixed it, that alone. No. Get rid of that. Oh, I don't even have soil. That's funny. Where do we want to dig some up? We could probably use, I had a little bit of a, I was thinking of carving this out just a hair more. Grab some soil off this area. This area is already getting pretty landscaped. All right, so let's try that again. About this height, let's really fill that out and see if that helps. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm gonna put it in just a hair. And then we want to cross one as well, somewhere near here. Or, yeah. Maybe on this side. Maybe we just do it right by the track. That's not a bad. Then it follows this main road. Or we just do a cross one over here. Well, anyways, we'll figure that one out later. Next up, get the thing connected. So here's the other hard thing. I'm going to get rid of all these angles and such. So get down to a 24 below. There we go. All right. Get that around there, and we're connected. Wild. There's one. Same thing. Starting with the harder of the 2 sides, we will go like that. Come on, buddy. You can do it. This is like always the challenge with these. I guess I could anarchy over. I don't like to use anarchy with trains. I find it causes huge issues with the metros. But might need to use it on this one. Just for that one piece. And we are connected. Okay, and the last one. Oh, pretty in line on these. So if I can just, there we go. Get it under and then back. Awesome. And then I haven't colored my lines yet. I know I should. But this is a very early stage metro for me, and I'm more concerned about just getting it going. Okay, 6 stops. Let's do 3 vehicles and see how that works. See if that alleviates some of this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not bad. We lost 1 block worth there. Why don't we just turn that into one of those? No need for it to be all the way up to there. Sometimes it creates some weird shapes. Okay. Cars are at 27. We are improving. All right. Well, I'm going to keep letting that run for a second. I think this could be the fix we needed. 10% unemployment, not bad. Definitely need some new industry here. I don't want to have just a city completely of offices. But I do want downtown to be offices. So this is the fishing industry thus far. It's actually not enough fish, I think. Yeah, they're still struggling to store enough fish in these. So I might add another fishing boat. I kind of built this little, I don't know what you want to call it, block. It's just to block the flooding that would occur. When this river starts flooding, or these rivers over here start flooding, it's really detrimental to this. I've seen it like go completely wash out to nothing, or like flood my entire, all of my docks. So I'm trying to keep this as like level as possible, the water level as steady as possible, which is cool. It's cool to see that you have to pay attention to that. Yeah, just check out these rivers. Like, you don't get this in the normal game. Like, this fluctuation of water levels. I think the tsunami's done. I don't really see. Can usually use the fish again to. It looks pretty much done. I think we're done with the tsunami. All in all, a 3.1 did very little. So I might turn the intensity up to just allow for a bigger fluctuation in the future. But yeah, it's good to know. Good to know. This type of map with this really well-designed river like this, that all the water flows out of the top and comes down to the bottom, you really don't need to worry about tsunamis, it seems. Even though my town is really not that high up. Like, I want to say, what are these water levels? Like, these things tell you the exact elevation they're at. So this is an elevation of 52, right? And yet, the ocean's got to be like, I don't even know, like, what this elevation is down here, but I think it'll tell me if I go to... Oh, no, I don't have that on. I guess if I go to place one of these, it'll tell me. So if that's at 52, this is at like... Yeah, look at this. It's at like 6 or something. So I've only got an elevation difference. And even this ground here is at 30. So the ocean's at 30. And my town is at 52. So I think that means if I can go into this setting, terrain setting. Yeah, look at that. So this is the ocean level. Actually travels all the way up to here, that blue. And then all the stuff on top of that is river flow. So even if the river were to go dry, it would never go dry past this blue level in theory. That's the ocean's level. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe up the tsunamis in the future. It still looks terrible. This is not good. Oh, we're down again now. 23. Our trains are jammed up for some reason too. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, this is just something where I need to get in here and remove a couple vehicles. There's just no fixing that without that. Get out of here. Okay, you made it. You made it. Good for you. Yeah, let's see. Trains are coming through now. That's not too backed up. Garbage trucks are emptying. We can start putting some stuff in here pretty soon. That is a lot of garbage trucks. That's probably also part of it. I shouldn't be emptying these garbage stations while we have so much traffic. Too much going on at once. Oh, there we go. This is a first in a while. Interesting. We've got a lot of shipments coming in. That was not happening before. Okay, I'll give them that. Well, it might be time for a total redesign there. So yeah, we'll leave it at this for now. It's not a great spot to end, but this is where Floodsville's at. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it's getting somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a good amount of flow. We can probably get one more water pull there, and it'll just loosen that. Or lower that amount of drain. Yeah, so we'll leave it here for now. Next time, I think what we're going to pick up on is fixing this traffic issue. We'll alleviate this. We'll figure this out. Maybe put a roundabout or two in. A la Biffa. 27, it's going up. How's our new line? All right. Anyways, it matters not. I think we need to just leave it here for today. Okay, thanks for watching. If you liked watching this, be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button that tells YouTube that you liked it so other people will see it as well. If you have any comments on it, be sure to put those down below. And yeah, if you have any suggestions on how to alleviate Floodsville's current traffic dilemma, I'll leave the final screen here. Oop, lag there for a second. I'll leave the final screen like so. You can, that's good enough. You can get an idea of the shape of things. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think would be the best way to alleviate this traffic conundrum going on? Or did I just did I just mess it up and we need to redesign this whole downtown area? I think it'll work. I think we can fix it. Some public transit is my guess, but you tell me what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.